Street in Middle Tennessee.
From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome into Reaction Monday here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant back in Columbia. Gotta love that. You gotta love it.
Being back in Columbia is good. Being back in my bed last night was better.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you gotta love it, because we're back home.
Yep.
I'm not mad about it.
No, not at all. Hey, that was fun.
It was, in fact.
But I'm glad to be back. Yeah.
As we get you wrapped up in high school football coverage, we have a fantastic show on tap for you, as we will talk with Joe Williams of the Williamson Herald, or at least one of us will. I may or may not. We'll see.
Well, you can talk.
He just
may not talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And we will react to the non-Blue Cross Bowl championships, as if we haven't talked about it enough, guys. Anyone who followed our coverage over the weekend knows that 14 shows later.
I didn't count because it's kind of like being a restaurant manager and keeping up with your hours and your own salary.
Don't do it.
Just don't.
Yeah. We had a lot of great content produced over the weekend. If you missed any of it and you want to go back and watch us either correctly, incorrectly predict what's going to happen or react to what did happen, there's some great content out there on SM_TN Sports Twitter.
Watch the reactions to what did happen. Don't.
Well, there's also
pay no mind to the predictions.
There's also previews in those too, so it gets rough sometimes. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. We had a lot of fun and did a lot of great work, I feel like. So glad to have been able to do it. We will wrap up the Blue Cross Bowl reactions here on Reaction Monday. And then, of course, we will get into college football. We missed the Titans this week. It was just so sad because they weren't playing, and we wouldn't have been able to watch them if they were. So it worked out really well for us, actually.
You know, the good thing, though, is they weren't playing, so they weren't losing.
There's that. And that means we will wait to talk to Teresa Walker a little bit later this week to kind of preview what's coming up, because at least 3 pretty big names came off the IR this week. So that's super exciting, including Julio Jones. So that's good news. We'll talk to Teresa later this week to talk about that. So we'll get a lot of college football in this particular show. Before we do that, and before we get to our, obviously, the results, or I'm sorry, the top stories of the day, we do need to get to some results from the weekend and today's schedule on the Rundown.
This is the Rundown. Let's do it.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy, providing a Christ-centered college prep education at an affordable cost. Call 931-388-5731 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule an appointment for a tour today.
High school football from Friday in the Class 3A Blue Cross Bowl State Championship. It was Alcoa defeating East Nashville 45-14. In Class 1A, South Pittsburgh edged McKenzie 24-21. And in Class 5A, Page fell to Powell 42-34. High school girls basketball action on Friday night. Huntland defeated Grundy County 75-41. It was Independence falling to Rockvale 49-31. And Lawrence County edging Hardin County 58-55.
Also in girls basketball action, Spring Hill down Nolensville 56-42. It was Loretto 69, Collinwood 20. Richland's girls down Mount Pleasant 58-46. Summertown was a winner over Wayne County 39-34. Columbia Central took care of Franklin 60-20, and Hampshire a 59-29 winner over Hollow Rock Brewston.
Santa Fe's girls drop a 43-38 decision to Perry County. Summit's girls fall to 11 and 47-38. It was Webb Bell Buckle over Columbia Academy 76-32, and Zion Christian with a 39-29 win over Franklin Classical's girls.
In boys action on Friday night, Grundy County 77, Huntland 61, Independence 94, Rockville 41. Lawrence County down Hardin County 77-24. It was Spring Hill falling to Nolensville 54-46. Loretto's boys also put up 69 points. They get a 69-47 winner over Collinwood and Mount Pleasant. A little shocking here, 42-29 over Richland.
No shock here. Summertown's boys 79, Wayne County 42. Columbia Central goes to Franklin, gets a 77-58 win over the Admirals. Hampshire edges Hollow Rock Brewston 60-57 of the Santa Fe 77. Perry County 57. Lebanon with the 71-48 win over Summit. Columbia Academy downs Webb Bell Buckle 78-68, and Zion Christian with the 1-point win over Franklin Classical 45-44.
On Saturday in high school football action, it was double overtime. Tullahoma 21, Elizabethton 14. In Class 2A, Westview 55, Hampton 14, and in Class 6A, Summit falls to Oakland 43-26. In girls basketball action, Franklin County a 44-38 winner over Lincoln County. It was Summertown 67, Hickman County 33, and Columbia Central a 59-57 winner over Riverdale.
In boys action on Saturday night, it was Franklin County defeating Lincoln County 72-52, Summertown over Hickman County 64-50, and Columbia Central with a 73-63 comeback win over Riverdale. NCAA men's basketball action over the weekend. Alabama knocking off third-ranked Gonzaga 92-82. Tennessee with a 69-54 win at Colorado, and Murray State edges Middle Tennessee State 93-87. In women's basketball action on Sunday, Tennessee Downs hosts Virginia Tech 64-58.
That ended a pretty long non-conference home winning streak for the Lady Hokies, by the way. Very long.
Lady Hokies?
I guess. I don't know. Same as Lady Tomcats. Monday's schedule today in high school basketball action. All of these tip at 6 o'clock, starting with girls. Boys to follow. Hampshire is at Eagleville. Culleoka hosts Huntland. Spring Hill is at Creekwood, and Zion Christian is at Franklin Road Christian. In bowling action today, District 14's tournament that includes Columbia Central, Franklin County, Lawrence County, Mount Pleasant, Santa Fe, Spring Hill, and Summit began today at 9 a.m. They are continuing to bowl as we speak. NBA action tonight. The Grizzlies are at the Heat. That's a 6:30 tip. And that's going to do it for your Monday Rundown. Couple of top stories I want to get to real quick. Obviously, we're going to get into the coaching situation. We're not going to have enough time to get into it the way we want to here, but we will get into it later this show. No question. So just FYI. But first, just notice this. About 11:48 a.m. Central Time, the Associated Press reports that Bob Baffert trained thoroughbred and Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has died, collapsing post-workout earlier today. And for those of you who don't know, Medina Spirit was the Kentucky Derby winner, but also tested positive for a substance that is legal except on race day. Betamethasone is a legal medication not allowed on race day, and Bob Baffert has long been known to test the rules. So there's that. He has won it 7 times as a trainer. Medina Spirit the latest, but Medina Spirit had won 5 of its 10 career starts, earned $3.5 million according to Equibase. And that's unfortunate because, typically, Kentucky Derby winners are left to enjoy their lives and procreate. This one will not, from what I understand.
It's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
I'll never forget when so I'm at the Kentucky Derby party hosted by the Duncans, and Medina Spirit wins. So of course I'm DJing the party, and I played Funky Cold Medina because, well, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
I didn't know that Bob Baffert had given Medina Spirit some Funky Cold Medina before the start of the race. I was unaware.
Now, wasn't the host of said party the winner for about that long as a result of that?
It was, I think Dale was.
Oh, okay.
Not sure.
Oh, all right.
But yeah. Anyway, we're not big on horse racing here, but I thought that was a pretty big story. I mean, the most recent Kentucky Derby winner died not even a year after winning the Derby. So, speaking of that long-standing home non-conference winning streak that was snapped over the weekend, Lady Vols moving into the top 10.
First time in the top 10 since New Year's Eve 2018. They come in at number 9 this week, coming off of that win at Virginia Tech yesterday. So, big win for Kelly Jolly Harper and the Lady Vols. And in this AP story on the top 10, Tennessee's long run in the top 10 would go back even further if not for finishing the final pole of the 1997 season at number 11. Before that, they had been in the top 10 every week since the final pole of 1986 before they fell out
to number 11.
Yeah. So, nice to see them back to relevance. Yes. And be interesting to see how this plays out as I get into Southeastern Conference play.
Especially considering they're doing it without their best player. Ray Burrell is out.
Right.
I mean, the job that Kelly Harper has done in a short period of time just goes to show that it doesn't matter. You can lose relevance for a period of time, but when you are Tennessee, whether it be women's basketball or football, you're relevant. It's just a matter of the right coach. Finally, before we get out of here, got about a couple minutes left. Want to mention that Buck O'Neil was voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame by vote of the early baseball era committee, but not the only one.
No, also fellow Negro Leaguer Bud Fowler was voted in by the early baseball era committee. Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, and Tony Oliva were voted in by the Golden Days era committee. According to CBS Sports, simply put, O'Neil is a Negro Leagues icon and one of the most important figures in baseball history. A fine player who went to 3 All-Star games and 10 Negro League seasons, O'Neil founded the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame in Kansas City following his playing days. He was also the first black coach in baseball history, in Major League Baseball history. O'Neil died at age 94 in 2006, and the Buck O'Neil Award is given annually to the individual whose extraordinary efforts enhance baseball's positive impact on society, broaden the game's appeal, and whose character, integrity, and dignity are comparable to the qualities exhibited by O'Neil.
It's a pretty awesome award, and pretty great that he is finally being enshrined. So, all right. That's it for segment 1. When we come back, we've got Joe Williams of the Williamson Herald. We react to the Blue Cross Bowl, and of course, the coaching carousel continues. Thought we were going to get out of this one, man. I thought we were going to get out of this one, but we didn't. So it continues. We'll tell you who's going where and what that means later in the show. Right now, we'll be back with Joe Williams, Williamson Herald, right after this on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Stick around.
local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant here on Reaction Monday, talking high school and college football from the weekend. Boy, what a weekend it was. Going back to Thursday, 9 high school football games played, 9 high school football champions crowned. Unfortunately, Mo, at least 3 of those were not in the way that we were hoping they would go. And when I say that, it's just easier to talk about it when the teams you cover win.
It really is. And you know, when you've covered the teams for this length of time over the course of a season, you tend to, you know, kind of build some allegiances to some degree.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to be objective, you want to be unbiased, and for the most part you are, but at the same time, when you've worked with these folks for 4 months now, you kind of want to see them do well.
No, yeah, no question. And for some of them, worked with them for years and years. You know, it is what it is. And then also you have some that, well, you have an actual allegiance to because maybe you went there. Mo, why don't you introduce our guest? Because if I say something, he may not know that we're talking to him.
Joining us from the Williamson Herald is Joe Williams, brought to you by the Williamson Herald, covering Williamson County sports, not just at the high school level, but certainly at the high school level, from Brentwood to Spring Hill and from Fairview to Nolensville. Like a blanket.
Like a blanket.
Joe, we understand, or I understand, if you may still not be talking to my counterpart after the events of early late Saturday night, as opposed to the events of late Saturday night.
I had nothing to do with that. I did not call anybody. I didn't say anything to anybody. I swear that wasn't me. Y'all can attest. Y'all with me the whole time.
I know that. Oh no, we were all in the same boat on that one. No, it's all good. I'm just sitting here on this glorious, fantastic Monday, typing away on my oversized external keyboard.
No one said it was oversized. I thought,
I think the question was,
okay.
I think the question was, could you have found a bigger one? Was that what it was?
I said, did they not have any regular sized keyboards?
Oh, okay. All right.
Chris, it's okay. Everybody understands keyboard envy.
I did have some.
I'm telling you to seek professional help, brother.
I will tell you, what I was most envious of is he had a number keypad, and the computer I was using did not have a number keypad, and I like a number keypad. So,
yeah, let's explain to everybody the reason we're discussing keyboards is because I walked out of here Thursday night stupid, and the equipment I use has a detachable keyboard. And it got detached all right, and part of it was in Franklin and part of it was in Chattanooga.
That's pretty detached.
That's detached.
That's about as detached as it gets, I guess, especially under the circumstances. So you had to go out and track one down.
Yeah, I mean, and it was just the beginning of a crazy weekend, and as Chris said, there are at least 3 games for each of us, and none of them came out the way we wanted. And it's funny. When we were leaving Sunday morning, I got there to the sign at the edge of Hamilton County. I stopped and got out and knocked the dust off my shoes and spit. So,
to get it all off, huh?
Obviously, the game that was most disappointing to Mr. Williams was the first game of the day on Friday.
Also to UTC.
Oh, it's another story. As Alcoa defeated Joe's alma mater, East Nashville, 40-5-14. And I think score isn't quite as disappointing as just the fact that no one will know when they hear that score how much of a fight East Nashville put up in that ball game.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, it's one of these deals where if it could go wrong, it did go wrong, especially in the kicking game. Guys, when you punt, the first half, you punt 3 times for -8 yards.
And we're driving to score on the open after forcing Alcoa to punt, driving to score, and then a bad snap ends the drive, and Alcoa gets the football at midfield rather than East Nashville going to score in the first quarter. That was really just what it made you go, well, they needed to play perfect, and that's not a good start.
Well, and it's the first time they've been there.
Sure.
And that's okay. I think they learned a lot. I mean, let's face it, of all the opponents you could come up with for your first trip to the state, Alcoa is probably not it, not the one you want to choose. Number one, they operate under a totally different set of rules than everybody else, and everybody knows that. And that hadn't have anything to do with the ball game. Don't misunderstand me. But secondly, they had Gary Rankin,
and all he is
Coach
just
Rankin could.
All he is just the all-time winningest coach in Tennessee high school football history. Yeah.
Wherever he goes, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, there are those who will tell you it's nearly impossible to beat a Gary Rankin. And I believe that. I've covered him for too long. So, it was I was proud of the kids. I was proud of the way Alcoa played and the way that the sportsmanship manner in which they played and the way they acted afterwards.
Which is not necessarily can be said for everybody over the weekend, but that's neither here nor there.
I was going to say, when you win a state championship, the last thing in the world you should do is go across the field and give the opposing teams student section the old single finger salute.
There you go. Say that 3 times fast.
You can say it once.
Exactly. I mean, come on, Mo.
But
there's a reason they kicked me out of radio.
And then, of course, the Page matchup on Friday night. Powell probably had 5 or 6 personal fouls and unsportsmanlike conducts during the game. So, a lot of folks, obviously the excitement's getting to you. So there's some things that, and your high school kids, I get that. I'm not excusing certain behaviors, but I am saying that it's understandable to be hyped up and get excited in a playoff atmosphere in a state championship game. But yeah, Powell and Page played one of the most exciting endings. It just as exciting as the game that followed them that Saturday morning. I mean, Page had a chance to win at the buzzer, or had a chance to tie at the buzzer.
All right.
Yeah, and that's one of those you kept expecting Page to score that last second touchdown, tie it, and push it. Just the way those cardiac kids have been all year long, and especially in the playoffs last couple. But that was a pretty good ball game, and I thought I will say this: I thought the officials in the 5A game were the best of the weekend. Of all the games that I saw, I thought they were the best of the bunch.
They were good. I thought the 4A crew was a good crew as well.
4A and 4A was probably I think 4A was the best that I saw, but I mean, there were some really good ones and there was one really bad one.
And the one really bad one just happened to be on the game that probably meant the most to Joe.
That's true.
Yep. But let me tell you this. They did not that game.
Oh, no.
The winner was the right winner.
Mm-hmm.
The officials did not have an effect on the game per se. Now, the difference, I mean, I thought it was a 17-14, 24-14 game. But God, they were bad. They were bad both ways.
Well, they were bad.
Just in general of rules knowledge and just understanding what was going on.
And demeanor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Demeanor, yeah.
So,
You know, and part of that, guys, is we are spoiled because the associations here in Middle Tennessee are so good.
That's true. We are a little spoiled.
you never miss what you got till it's gone, huh? Yeah.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
Joe,
But, you know, it was a great weekend, guys. I got to tell you, you guys just killed it this weekend. If folks did not follow you guys this weekend, boy, they missed a treat because you guys just pumped out the work. And I know you guys got to be exhausted. You and JP, I mean, you two and JP, the whole bunch. I mean, you guys did a great job this weekend. I'm just terribly impressed.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Joe. We certainly put in the work. I hope it was good. That nightcap on Saturday, again, Oakland defeating Summit 43-26, ending Summit's 25-game win streak and ending their bid for back-to-back state championships, while Oakland won back-to-back state championships with the win. Summit had not trailed a lot this year and struggled once they found themselves in that position Saturday night.
Well, it's funny. I can think of a couple of times. One in particular on the turnover on downs deep in Oakland territory, where the offense just couldn't get it that extra yards they needed.
Right after that interception,
it was over,
yeah, down 10.
Yeah. But you know what amazed me when it was over? Brady Pierce just was brutally honest. He said, defense didn't get it done. He said, we needed to step up. He said, I needed to step up. I'm going, kid, you had 13 tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a 69-yard touchdown catch, and another one that might have been pass interference, didn't get called, judgment called it. Okay, I was at the other end of the field. I'm not going to comment on it. But the other one popped up and turned into an interception. You know, if they get the call there, if he makes the catch there, this is a different ball game.
Man, that was and what was so crazy about that. Well, I mean, that was just a really good play by the safety to find find the closing speed to get back to that football, because I mean Brady had his guy beat in the end zone, but the safety came over and made a great play. And you know, what can you do at that point? You just tip your hat to the safety and say, well done, kid. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
And that's that's what Summit has to do in general, is just say, look, it's not like we got beat by some scrubs. It's the number 10 team in the nation.
Yeah. I really believe those teams played 5 times. Summit could win 2 of them. I don't know if they win 3 out of 5, but I know they win 2 out of 5.
I
believe that.
I think it's very possible. I mean, they're too many great athletes on both sides of the sideline for that not to be the case. I mean, I feel like Keaton Wade's knee was a problem, especially on offense. I don't think they used him as much as they would have liked to have, because of what looked to be some kind of knee injury where he was being wrapped on the sideline, which your wife pointed out.
Cut. Yeah, it was a cut, laceration of some kind. Apparently had stitches in it.
Gotcha. Well,
that's when I found out afterwards.
I mean,
that's why we're running back so quick. So
sure, they didn't want him running the ball too much, getting hit in the knees.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he didn't touch it very much after that first touchdown of the game. It's unfortunate, man.
No, and I think maybe they were trying to move the ball around and let him be the decoy.
Mm-hmm.
But boys, what a game we saw with all 3 Tennessee Titans, Mr. Football finalists in it. And, you know, Jordan James is the real deal. He's going to be fun to watch at Georgia in a couple of years.
Unless you're not a Georgia fan. So, but yeah.
Well, those two will be going right up against each other over the next 4 or 5 years.
They're all in the SEC East. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
So that should be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Joe Williamson.
Go ahead. If there's a positive, I get to eat him again. Yeah.
There's that.
I got 4 more years to take out my frustration.
Joe Williams of the Williamson Herald here with us on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today. Joe, as always, we appreciate your time and your insight, and we need to get back with you on some NASCAR developments. So stay tuned.
Stick by the phone.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more Blue Cross Bowl right after this. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns after this.
Talking high school sports, here's Mo and Chris.
Welcome back in. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. You don't, but it helps. Tell me I'm wrong. Don't look at me that way, JP. I'm not wrong.
It doesn't hurt.
I wouldn't know. So.
Oh man.
Speaking of brutally honest,
here we are. Man, let's finish up our final parting 2:00 on Thursday. Don't sit with your back to the window with the sun beating through it. We learned that quickly and made necessary adjustments, because you know what? If you don't make adjustments,
You get beat.
you're the problem.
Yep. Yep. It's kind of like that first semester of college when you sign up for those 8:00 classes.
You didn't know.
No, you don't.
I've been waking up and getting to school at 7:00 for years.
It's like somebody said, high school 8:00 and college 8:00 ain't the same 8
They
o'clock.
are not the same 8:00. It's not even close. I don't know who thought this was a good idea. It's like they changed the whole clock system over there.
Right.
Well, Thursday we saw 3 rematches and we saw 3 repeat winners. That was weird.
In dominant fashion.
I mean, you hear the phrase all the time. It's hard to beat a good team twice. Well, wasn't so difficult on Thursday for anybody.
No. No. Lipscomb, Donaldson Christian, and McCallie all said you're a lie. Lipscomb with the 27-0 win over CPA. Donaldson Christian with the 31-7 win over Nashville Christian, and McCallie with the 28-7 win over Montgomery Bell Academy. Like I said, all in dominant fashion.
Yeah, none of them were ever in question.
Really weren't.
And that's
now CPA Lipscomb was scoreless through the first quarter.
And
but
it still never felt like CPA was ever going to get anything done offensively because they just couldn't. They could not move the football at all.
And you almost knew that it was going to take some sort of a defensive turnover or a defensive score even for CPA to really have a chance. I mean, Lipscomb was just that good.
Yeah. And Donaldson Christian really impressed me. I mean, after that 7-3 game just a couple of weeks ago, it was only like 4 weeks ago that those two teams played to a 7-3 finish, and you thought, well, it's got to be better than that. Well, the good thing was the weather was perfect all weekend for every game. I mean, when you talk about perfect weather, you couldn't have asked for anything better.
No cold, no precip. I mean, so nobody's offenses were adversely affected by anything. I mean, it wasn't windy. Everybody was able to do everything offensively that they've done all year this year.
Yep. And Donaldson Christian took every advantage of that because they scored 31 points in a romp of Nashville Christian a lot of people, including us, thought Nashville Christian would win that rematch.
And the turning point, if there is a turning point in a 31-7 ball game, is, DCA went up 24-0 in the third quarter, I think, early in the third quarter. Let me get this right. Nashville Christian scored.
Yep.
Got it to 24-7.
Yep. And then
kicked off. And that was their mistake.
They shouldn't
have kicked off.
Certainly shouldn't have kicked it to Jacob Cook, who took it
90 yards back the other way to the house. Yeah, for pretty. I mean, you felt like, okay, it's 24-7. We get a stop, get the ball back. Maybe we can get something going on. Nay. Because Cook house call on the ensuing kickoff, and that pretty much, I think, took the wind out of Nashville Christian sails at that point. Understandably.
Certainly. I mean, I thought it was a really good job by Donaldson Christian to do what they did. I'm looking for something specific here and I can't find anything. So I'm not going to speculate as to whether or not this is accurate. I'm just going to give you the information and let you tell me if you guys have any ideas.
Mm-hmm.
The referee in that single A Division II game, Charles Lee, LEA. I wonder if there's any relation to Vanderbilt coach Clark Lee.
I don't think so. I don't think Clark has siblings. I'm not entirely sure. But the reason I say that is because at one time, Clark was a bullpen catcher for the Nashville Sounds when I was covering them, and his dad was a team surgeon. And I don't think I remember any other Lee children being around or being mentioned or anything like that. So I don't think Clark has siblings, but I don't know that with any certainty.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah,
throwing
I
it
mean
out
it's a fair question.
Yeah,
I don't know what it would mean either way.
Nothing. I just thought that
yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah.
Just a unique little
Mhm.
tidbit there.
Tidbit.
Macaulay with the dominant win over NBA, thanks a lot to Kenzie Paul, who had a pick and then capped the ensuing drive with a touchdown catch, 30 yards from William Riddle, who ended up being the MVP. But I thought Kenzie Paul was phenomenal.
I thought either of those receivers could have easily been the MVP, either Paul or.
You want me to say it?
Go
Because I
ahead.
don't know how to say it. Gallarditz, Xavier Gallarditz.
Sure.
Anyway,
we typically defer to JP on tough pronunciations like that. Like
we didn't have a pronunciation guide. We should have gotten one of those from the broadcast teams.
I bet Macaulay had one.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And we talked about East Nashville and Alcoa. Just want to give a shout out to Frank Gordon IV, who was fantastic in that game. So
those kids played hard, man.
They did. That score is not at all indicative of how close that game really was. I mean, until the fourth quarter, it felt like East Nashville was right there in it.
And it's like I said, people will look at that score and just think, another Alcoa blowout. And it wasn't that. And the game got away from East Nashville late.
I mean, it was 28-14 after the first drive of the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And East Nashville had every opportunity.
Just couldn't string plays together.
Couldn't get stops and scores. Because when they got stops, they couldn't score. When they didn't get stops.
When they scored, they couldn't get stops. Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. South Pittsburgh, big win over McKenzie. Didn't really see this one coming. Congratulations to the Pirates. And
didn't see it coming when they were down 14-0 for sure.
Especially when they were down 14-0 in the first quarter. You thought, oh, wow, this is going to be a blowout. Turns out, not so much.
You said the place kicking was going to come into play in that one in a 3-point game.
Darn if it didn't. Yeah. I mean, it was the deciding points in the fourth quarter.
Because it was a field goal that put them up 24-14, right?
That's right. Yeah, Cooper Cowan put the here's the thing is McKenzie's defense, this was after that I hesitate to call it a strip more so than a steal.
Mm-hmm.
The defenders just took the ball from the running back, ran to about the 8-yard line. They get 5 yards, but McKenzie's defense stepped up. If they had been anywhere other than inside the 10-yard line, who knows? But they were inside the 10. Cooper Cowan makes the 19-yard field goal. They go up 24-14, and McKenzie couldn't get the onside kick, which ended the game. Now, a team that did get the onside kick and gave themselves an opportunity was that Page team. That was wild, man. I'll tell you, somebody, I guess it was the broadcast crew, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody, the color guy on the broadcast crew said, he said, I know they practice the onside kicks. I don't know why they didn't attack it there. And I'm like, I played football for 10 years. Not once did we ever practice recovering onside kicks. We practiced kicking them. We never practiced recovering them. Maybe that's my coach's problem, but I wonder how many other coaches don't do that because you don't think about it, right? I mean, that's a lot of time you're wasting
for something that you may
never do. So, I mean, of course, we went 3-7 my senior year too. So
maybe you should have.
No, we should. We didn't. We were never going to be ahead after recovering onside kick. We needed to learn how to kick them and get them, not keep the other team from getting them.
Wow.
Oh man. But impressed by Jake McNamara as we have been all year. I think he single-handedly gave his team a chance to win. And I want to give him credit for that. I thought Walter Nolan played pretty well. And he was in the backfield a lot, making Jake scramble, but Jake was able to scramble a lot too.
Well, he was chasing Jake a lot.
Too. So much so that it wore him out to the point of literal exhaustion, where he called some dinosaurs a couple times.
He lost his lunch
At
least twice.
I bet he's never lost his lunch money though.
Who's going to take it?
Who's going to take that? Nobody.
Yeah.
And then Saturday was the culmination of the event. Tullahoma with a double overtime win over Elizabeth and two-time defending champ 21-14. Should not have gotten to overtime, but it is what it is. And John Olive said after the game, I thought I cost our kids a state championship by not kicking that field goal, and our defense bailed me out. And he figured, well, I got the win.
I'm going to go out on top. John Olive announced Sunday his retirement, and after 33 years as a head football coach in the state of Tennessee, he certainly deserves what he got. And congratulations to Coach Olive, to the Tullahoma people who came out in absolute droves, nearly filled the stadium, did Tullahoma. So, congratulations to them and to Coach Olive. And in the 2A game that followed Tullahoma and Elizabeth, and
Ty Simpson proved it, didn't he?
Running back Ty Simpson, 10 carries, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns.
18 yards a carry.
That's not bad.
First play we saw him was on a 60-yarder that he carried people from the 10 to the goal line. He didn't score, but literally they jumped on his back at the 10-yard line. He carried them all the way to the goal line before finally being dragged down. So impressed by that kid, and Alabama's getting a good one, which is unfortunate.
55-14 Westview over Hampton in that ball game. Never was
bad day
close.
to be a Bulldog.
Yeah.
It started with Hampton and ended with Gonzaga. Oh, man. Finally, Oakland with a 43-26 win over Summit. We've talked about that one enough. I don't want to get into it anymore. When we come back, top of the hour, we're going to get into the college football. We'll talk about some other Bulldogs. Not great. Not a great day to be a Bulldog. So stick around with us on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. We'll be right back after this.
hoops to pros and everything in between. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant, and